Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Imagine for a moment that the universe is built on a simple but profound principle. Everything exists in pairs: light and darkness, hot and cold, love and hate, success and failure. At first glance, these appear to be opposites forces that cancel each other out or fight against one another. But the deeper truth is far more fascinating. These opposites are not separate things at all. They are simply different degrees of the same thing. This principle is known as the Law of Polarity, one of the most powerful universal laws governing the structure of reality and consciousness. The law states that everything has two poles, two extremes, and that these extremes are simply variations along the same spectrum. Heat and cold are not different substances. They are simply different levels of temperature. Light and darkness are not separate forces. Darkness is simply the absence of light. Even emotions such as love and hate are not entirely different feelings. They exist along the same emotional scale. Understanding this law changes the way we view life. It reveals that many of the struggles we experience are not battles between opposing realities, but movements along a continuum. And once you understand that, something incredible becomes possible. You gain the ability to shift your experience. To understand the law of polarity, we must first recognize that the universe operates through contrast. Without contrast, perception would be impossible. Imagine a world with no darkness. Light would have no meaning. Imagine a world without silent. Sound would lose its definition. Opposites give each other meaning. This is why challenges often exist alongside opportunities. Difficulty sharpens growth. Failure defines success. Pain often deepens compassion and wisdom. From a cosmic perspective, polarity is not conflict. It is balance in motion. In physics, every force has its counterforce. Positive and negative charges create electricity. North and south poles create magnetism. Even the structure of atoms depends on polar relationships. Nature itself is built upon polarity: day and night, inhalation and exhalation, expansion and contraction. The universe breathes through opposites. But the law of polarity is not just a physical principle. It operates within the mind as well. Our emotional and psychological experiences follow the same pattern. Consider courage and fear. They are not entirely separate emotions. Courage often exists in the presence of fear. What changes is the degree of that fear and the way the mind interprets it. The same is true for confidence and doubt, happiness and sadness, enthusiasm and apathy. Each pair exists on a spectrum. This insight leads to one of the most powerful applications of the law of polarity: mental transmutation. Mental transmutation is the ability to transform one mental state into another by shifting its degree along the same scale. If love and hate exist on the same emotional spectrum, then hate can be transformed by gradually moving the emotional energy toward the positive pole. If fear exists on the same spectrum as courage, then courage can be cultivated by shifting perception, focus, and interpretation. In other words, you do not destroy negative states, you transform them. Think of a dimmer switch controlling a light in a room. The light is always there. By adjusting the dial, the brightness changes. Your consciousness works in a similar way. You can shift the intensity and direction of your mental states. This understanding gives you tremendous power over your inner world. Many people believe that life is about eliminating negative experiences completely. But the law of polarity teaches something different. Negative experiences are not enemies. They are signals of position on a spectrum. If you feel discouraged, it simply means your mental position has shifted toward the negative pole of a particular scale. The moment you recognize this, you gain the ability to move toward the opposite pole. This does not mean ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. It means understanding that every state contains within it the potential for its opposite. Where there is despair, hope can be cultivated. Where there is confusion, clarity can emerge. Where there is weakness, strength can grow. The law of polarity reveals that transformation is not about creating something entirely new. It is about changing degrees. This principle has been understood by philosophers, mystics, and scientists throughout history. Ancient teachings often describe the universe as a dance of opposites. Eastern philosophies spoke of yin and yang complementary forces that form a unified whole. Western Hermetic philosophy taught that opposites are identical in nature but different in degree. Across cultures, the same idea appears again and again. Reality is not divided, it is graduated. And when you apply this understanding to your own life, something shifts in the way you interpret challenges. Instead of seeing obstacles as final outcomes, you begin to see them as positions along a scale that can move. A setback becomes part of the path toward progress. A mistake becomes part of the learning process. A difficult season becomes part of the cycle that eventually produces growth. Even relationships follow the law of polarity. Conflict and harmony exist on the same relational spectrum. When communication improves, understanding grows, and empathy increases. The emotional energy between people moves toward the positive pole. The relationship shifts. The same principle applies to personal development. The person you are today is not a fixed identity. Your thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors exist along various spectrums: confidence, discipline, creativity, focus. Every improvement you make is simply a movement along those scales, step by step, degree by degree. This is why small changes in daily habits can produce profound transformations over time. Each shift may seem small, but collectively they move your life toward a different pole of experience. Perhaps the most empowering realization is this: because opposites are connected, no state is permanent. The presence of difficulty always implies the possibility of improvement. The existence of darkness implies the presence of light somewhere nearby. Life constantly moves between poles. Seasons change, emotions change, circumstances change. The law of polarity reminds us that movement itself is part of the design of reality. When you learn to work with this law consciously, you stop resisting the existence of opposites. Instead, you begin to use them as guides. You observe where you are on a spectrum and deliberately move in the direction you choose. If you feel overwhelmed, you begin introducing calm. If you feel uncertain, you begin seeking clarity. If you feel disconnected, you begin cultivating connection. You move toward the pole that represents the experience you want. Over time, your mind becomes trained to navigate these spectrums more skillfully, and something remarkable happens. Instead of feeling controlled by external circumstances, you begin to experience yourself as a participant in shaping your internal reality. You become aware that every thought, every belief, every interpretation is part of a sliding scale of possibilities. The law of polarity is not about denying life's contrasts, it is about understanding them. Because when you understand polarity, you understand that the same energy that produces struggle can also produce growth. The same spectrum that contains fear also contains courage. The same continuum that contains doubt also contains faith. And the distance between those poles is often far smaller than it appears. So the next time you face a difficult situation, remember this principle. You are not trapped in a fixed condition. You are simply standing somewhere along a spectrum. And with awareness, intention, and consistent action, you have the ability to move from darkness toward light, from limitation toward possibility, from struggle toward mastery. Because in the great design of the universe, everything has poles, and every pole contains the path to its opposite. That is the power of the law of polarity.